I am Pragya Mishra and I am the AVP of Customer Success and Operations at Courseplay. We have Dr. Ajit, who's a renowned expert in people development with over 17 years of experience. He's a certified coach, consultant, and trainer with a passion for helping individuals and organizations achieve their full potential. Hi, Dr. Ajit. It is great to have you here.
Hi, Pragya. Thank you so much.
In larger organizations, building that one-on-one understanding of every employee, personalizing the training programs or the preferences or the language that they're comfortable in. How will a large organization tackle this? Because getting to know every employee is a challenging task.
Agree. I understand. So whatever you asked is definitely a large organization. It would always be challenging and difficult. Now let us understand. If I have to share my experience being into my company, it's been 7 years, right? So at least in last 7 years of time, I have started knowing people, connecting with them. Right, in my training session, suppose there are 20-25 people or 30 people and all that, so I would always try and touch and understand that what is they have understood, what is that they have not understood, and then maybe how I can have a learning transfer. So in a learning organization means, or maybe in a bigger organization, or maybe an organization of a bigger size and all that, so now we cannot have one size fit all. That's what I mean to say. So personalization would only come. So now, for an example, everybody's need would be different. Somebody else who's working in, say, production, somebody else who's working in a mechanical department, somebody else who's working into sales, somebody else who's working in HR. So everybody's priority would be different. So it's not about the feedback. So feedback, like I would deliver a very good, fantastic program based on activities and all that. I generally say fun, task, trick methodology. Bring in fun, bring in some task, and bring in some trick. So then people would be happy. It's all fine. But what about the learning transfer? And that learning transfer would help us to understand that whether the learning has been internalized, or maybe we need to have customization. We cannot have one size fit all for all the people.
Right, that's a valid point there. And then when you're building these programs, how do you ensure that this training content is actually relevant and, more importantly, is respectful to a diverse workforce?
So see, the first thing, as I said, like what we generally do in our kind of company. So basically we go ahead with a need assessment, which I was talking about. So here at my company, it is a integrated approach. When I say integrated approach, what we generally do is that first thing is we do pull data from our PMS, performance management system and all that, and see that what is the feedback that has come based on the HOD. Then we also have interaction with the HODs one-to-one to understand their feedback, ground reality and all that. And then we also discuss, like sample size and the participants, audiences who are actually at the receiving end, to understand that whether the need assessment is the right treatment. So that's the reason I said an integrated approach. So training need assessment is based on HOD's feedback, participants feel, data which being extracted from the PMS, and barring that, we also have an exhaustive training menu card which includes around 1500 topics into different segments, which relates to functional, which relates to behavioral people skills, which relates to safety and health, and then barring that, it also relates to like recent industry trends. And then we prepare an annual training calendar, right? That is one way of doing it, bringing in the relevant topics which would actually be befitting need-based, right, programs. Barring that, like the inclusive design, which I was talking about. So that every segment, so for an example, I deliver a program. So whenever I prepare a content, I ensure that it should include some elements of, I can have different kinds of audiences, which I don't know, which you were talking about. That in a larger organization, it's very difficult to know that what are the kinds of segment of people I'm having and where I'm going to deliver a training program. So
Yeah.
there can be, people who are, kinesthetic people, people who are, like more of auditory, digital, in terms of
Yep.
more cognitive and all. So then I prepare my content accordingly that. So maybe I'll have one video, one activity, one assessment, and then maybe brainstorm. So that I would be able to cater to all segment of people, and my training design, curriculum design would become inclusive. So that is one way. So need assessment, inclusive training, content design, and all that, and regular updates. What's happening there in industry? What is that we can bring into our training delivery and can make it up to date? That's very important, and that's how I always try and work on a principle called as CED: connect,
Mm-hmm.
content, engage, and deliver.
Okay.
That is
Hmm.
that is what principle I generally follow in my training programs. And barring that, like we can always do like expert consultation. What's happening? So we can always bring in a board an expert. So I may not be an expert into each area. So I generally that's the reason I say like one has to be jack of all trades and master of one. So you need to know,
Oh,
something about everything
yeah.
else. And then you have to be master of your own, means where are you working in your own area of expertise and domain. So these
Yeah.
are few things which you can do.
That's a fresh thought.